All underway. Perfect. All right. Excellent. Okay, what's the time? We might just give it one more minute, let a few more people join in, and then we'll get things underway. Got a few more people coming in. That's good. Maybe just give another 30 seconds and then let the last couple of people come in. All right, I think we'll get things underway. Thank you, everybody who has joined us today. Welcome to the first of many Betaco webinars that we'll be producing throughout the coming months. So just a little bit of an introduction about me. So my name is Thomas Sim. I'm one of the associate advisors here at Betaco. I've been with Betaco coming up 5 years, and prior to that at a couple of other accounting firms, working my way through. So I'm really excited to be here today, taking you through this webinar around the 7 ways to grow your business, and trying to, I guess, impart some knowledge and some information that will help you along your business journey. So in this webinar, we also have Hetal, who's another of the associate advisors here at Betaco. She'll be in the background answering any of your questions that you might have through the chat. In terms of the questions or the Q&A section, if you post any specific questions into there, we'll get round to answering those at the end of today's session. If you have any issues around being able to see this webinar or hear it properly, please post that in the chat and we'll be able to assist you along the way. So without further ado, I will get things underway. So this is a small amount, excuse me if I cough occasionally, just getting over the flu. So Betaco, our expertise is covered off in multiple areas. So obviously there's accounting and tax, which is the compliance side of things, to help get some structure and understanding around your numbers so you have the right information for you and your business. Business advisory is around getting planning and support from experienced advisors who can help partner with you along your business journey. So we do a lot of that here at Betaco. Bookkeeping and financial control is another very important part of your business and something that Betaco has grown in the last couple of years. So this allows us to help you get back the time to work on your business rather than focusing on that finance function. And technology, huge amount of growth in the technology sector over the last couple of years, and more recently, of course, with AI. So having the right people on board to help you identify the right technologies, the right systems and processes for you and your business is really important. And that's something that we can also offer and assist you along the way. So thank you for making the time to be here today. I'd like to kick things off with some wise words from Thomas Jefferson. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. These words were written about 230 years ago, and they are as true today as they were back then. This session today is about challenging you to do something different in your business so you can get the results that you have never achieved. So this is about making some changes, taking some actions for you and your business. So before we get stunk in, I want to just throw out our usual disclaimer that the information in this educational webinar is general in nature and no substitute for tailored advice specific to your particular circumstances. One of the, I guess, the biggest problems that small businesses have is the failure to implement. If you don't write down your actions, you won't remember them. Just like if you don't write down your business goals for the next year, you'll be less likely to achieve them. If you want to get the maximum value out of today's webinar, we want you to get the maximum value out of today's webinar. So if you have any questions, please submit them at any time and we'll endeavour to answer them throughout the webinar or following the webinar's close. We'll cover how you need to make the choice to change, how to develop your roadmap and your dashboard for your business. We'll then get into the 7 ways to grow your business and all that encompasses. I'll then take you through a worked example of how you can make some small changes within your business around your KPIs and the compound effects that these can have on your bottom line and your cash flow. And this can be very significant. Then we'll work through some next steps, which is around accountability time. And when you decide what action you're going to take as a result of coming along today. If you have any questions during the webinar, send them through, and we'll make sure that they're answered at the end. So first of all, choosing to change. We've all been through a lot recently with COVID, recessionary fears, with inflation as well. And it's likely that you need to make some changes in your business, and change won't happen on its own. You need to make the choice to change. You're in control of how you respond to the recent crises. And there are generally around 5 steps in this process, and they're called the 5 A's of change. The first is being aware that you need to make some change. So identifying that you need to do something different in your business. It's unlikely that your business has been able to continue as normal, and changes are required. The next step is acceptance. You need to accept that you need to make this change. It might not be easy, but the alternative of not doing anything probably won't be easy either, and it might be more detrimental to you and your business. So now that you've accepted that you need to make some change, it's now the time to take some action. So what steps do you need to take to enable this change? Most people get stuck here at this point, and you may respond to immediate actions. You might be reactionary in what you do in the crisis mode, but you need to take actions. But failing to take action is not an option. So to make sure that you do take action, accountability is really important. Being held by somebody who is independent and being held accountable really does help make things happen. And finally, the 5th A is acknowledgement. Acknowledge the change you've actioned. Take your team along with you on your journey and give positive reinforcement. The people in your business are highly important, and they will help you make these changes, help you improve your business, and help you grow along the way. So the first step, how do you get from A to B? And this is your roadmap. So before you can make a plan for where you want your business to go, you must first understand where your business is at now, which is your point A. The impact of COVID-19, the impact of recessionary fears, the impact of inflation means that it's likely that you're further away from your destination than you would have been. Point B might be harder to get to now. It is likely that your original point B is still possible. It just might take longer, or the route and the way to get there is looking a little different. For example, before COVID, your point A may have been to have only a $50,000 overdraft, and your goal was to reach point B of having $50,000 of cash sitting in the bank account within 12 months. So you'd have to increase your bank account by 100,000 to reach point B. So what does point A look like in your business now? Maybe you've had to extend your overdraft by a further 25,000 to cover your expenses over lockdown with inflationary impacts as well. So point A is now a $75,000 overdraft, and the journey to point B is increasing your cash in your account by 125,000, so quite a lot more. It might be realistic to aim to reach point B by 24 months rather than 12 months. So do you know what point A looks like in your business, and what is your goal for point B? And what does the journey look like to get there? So getting from point A to point B is your plan. So now you know where you are as a result of COVID and recession and inflation impacts, and you know where you want to go. You need to revise your plan. This could be reviewing and updating your current existing business plan, or it could be developing a business recovery plan as a result. If the impact on your business has been minimal, it's likely that an update to your business plan is all that you might need to do. However, if you've been more significantly impacted, we would recommend doing a business recovery plan, and this will help you revise your personal budget to reduce pressure on your business cash flow and determine whether you need additional financing for your business and revise your business budget and break-even analysis points. You'll also need to establish critical KPIs, so key performance indicators, to monitor this time and identify the opportunities in your business. You need to identify the vulnerabilities and the critical challenges also. You'll then need to identify the risks in each department of your business, as well as looking at some mitigation strategies, then set some annual and 90-day goals to achieve your plan. So let's look at how you can get, or how you get from point A to point B, looking at working out your budget. So you start with your profit. You need in your business to deliver to you, and then work your way up to determine the required sales level. So for example, in the past, $150,000 of profit may have been your target in your business to deliver what you want. Being in lockdown, for example, may have shown that you can live on less, which is great. So after revising your personal budget, you may have been able to reduce your net profit from 150 down to 130,000, and this is reducing some pressure, relieving pressure on your business. Overheads previously were 350,000, and you've revised all your overheads and realized that you can reduce this down by about another 25,000 and have 325 in total. This then gives us a gross profit, a revised gross profit of 455,000. So remember, we had $150,000 of profit that's been reduced to 130,000. You've reduced your overheads, and now your gross profit is sitting at 455,000. However, we still want to try and keep that gross profit percentage around about 39%. So we would need to deliver new sales of just over 1.1 million. While this is lower than the original target of just under 1.3 billion, we may need to have more of a brutal look at our expenses to ensure that the goal is attainable in the current climate. So of course, you'll need to develop this in more detail. You might like to break this down as monthly targets, review the seasonality of your revenue throughout the year for cash flow timing, and monitor these so that you are on track. Next, we take a look at your dashboard. So now that you know where you're going and what you want to achieve, it's time to set up your dashboard. And so this is kind of like the dashboard on your car, right? So it tells you how fast you're going, how much fuel you have left, and the temperature of your engine, and all those sorts of things. It gives you an indication of whether you're going to be able to meet your destination. And business is very much the same. You need all of those factors, all of those KPIs, and all of those metrics in order to know where you're going to end up. So the things on your business dashboard are KPIs. Essentially, they're measures to tell you if you're on track to achieving your plan. And you really should try and have about 4 or 5 key indicators or key measures that will help you drive your business improvement. I guess having more than 4 or 5 can get confusing, and you can get bogged down on trying to monitor too many at once. So focusing on a small number of KPIs will allow you to capture, monitor, report, and improve them on a regular basis. So your most important KPIs will depend on what type of business you are, as well as what goals you have. So for example, if you are a manufacturer, some of your KPI key measures will be gross profit percentage, cost of rework, work in progress days, or debtor days. However, if you're a retailer, it's more likely that something around sales, gross profit percentage, average client spend, and transaction frequency. So it's really important to determine and define what these KPIs are for your business, and what you should be measuring to set goals for improvement, and establishing this dashboard so you can regularly monitor how you're progressing. So when you set your goals, do you have someone to hold you accountable for what you've committed to? What are the consequences if you don't achieve your goals? Do you have a soft coach or do you have a hard coach? So have you got someone who's really going to push you, or someone who's just going to be a yes man? So remember the 5 A's of change. So they were awareness, acceptance, action, accountability, and acknowledgement. So accountability, you really must have somebody who is independent, first and foremost, to hold you accountable for your actions. And they should be there, and should there be consequences for your inaction? And maybe that's something you discuss with them. We've found that in the past, having a spouse is probably not ideal for accountability, doesn't usually work. So independence really is quite important and really key. So to summarize the last couple of sections, if your business is the vehicle that delivers you what you want in life, the top 4 things that you need to do to make sure you get to your destination are the following from our point of view. Setting an annual plan for you and for your business. Setting an annual financial budget so you can see where your costs are, what your revenues are, and what you're finally going to achieve. Setting and measuring the 4 to 5 most important KPIs in your business, and having someone independent to hold you accountable for your plan, which is very important. So the next section that we're going to take you through is the marketing flywheel. And you may or may not have come across this before. We'll get on to the next section, which will be the 7 ways to grow your business. But this marketing flywheel, I think, yes, this concept shows you how you can attract, engage, and delight your customers, and demonstrates that you shouldn't just focus on gaining new customers, but that you should really focus on your existing and current customers, as they are the key part of your business that have got you to where you are today. First, we have strangers who haven't heard about you or your business before. You can do some marketing to introduce the business to these strangers, who will then become prospects, who then have the opportunity to buy a product or a service from the business. When those prospects make a purchase, they become customers. And if we treat them right, we treat them with respect and empathy, and we receive the same, then these customers will become our promoters. The more promoters that we have, the more people that we have to speak to strangers about our business, and then the cycle continues. So it just continues along that way. In order to attract prospects to our business, we need to provide value before you can extract value. You need to think about what they'll get from doing business with you and what problems that you can try and solve for them. To convert these prospects to customers, we must engage them by making it as easy as possible to buy something from us. Our marketing is what attracts us and engages those prospects, and then in turn turns them into customers. Our sales process should ensure customers continue to be engaged and are followed up with extremely good service. Service is really important. Delighted customers will share their feedback with strangers, creating more prospects, customers, and promoters. The level of service we provide determines how we delight and attract our future customers. The aim is to keep this marketing flywheel spinning continuously, converting more strangers into prospects, prospects into customers, and providing such good service that those customers become promoters. So following this process is really important for your business. It's important for growing your business. So now on to the 7 ways to grow your business. The first way is to increase customer retention rate. It is much cheaper to make sales to your existing customers. In fact, statistics show that it is 6 times easier and cheaper to make sales to existing customers than it is to new customers. By delighting our customers, by giving them fantastic service, we make them want to return, and therefore increasing our customer retention rate. So what do you need to think about? What do you do to delight your customers? One recommendation would be to follow the FGG principle, which is to delight your customers. So you find out what they want, you go get it, and then you give it to them. So the FGG. Some examples around how you could increase your customer retention rate would be, for example, implementing a customer loyalty program, providing excellent customer service consistently and continuously. Engage with your customers regularly through email, newsletters, and social media updates. So just a couple of examples of how you might be able to do this. Number 2, the second way to grow your business: generate more leads. Generating more leads will generate more sales. And the best way to generate more leads is to delight your customers so they become promoters and provide you with more leads. You can't purely rely on your existing customers to do your marketing for you. So you must attract strangers using your marketing flywheel and providing value. This might be, for example, such as a free download onto your website, or a free trial, or a free consultation. You need to then show them the problems you can solve if they engage with you in your service. Some other examples around this would be to look to optimize your company's website to attract more visitors. You could look to utilize pay-per-click advertising to drive traffic. And often attending industry networking events to build relationships and gathering new leads will often lead to generating more leads and more sales. The third way to grow your business is to increase your conversion rate. Now, some questions that I'll throw out at you are: do you measure how successful you are at converting your leads, your quotes, and proposals into sales? Do you regularly review why you aren't converting more? I guess understanding where your leads are coming from, how frequently you are converting them, and why you're converting them is really important to how you're doing your marketing and what you're doing. You should be monitoring the conversion rates of all members of your sales team, for example. If some are performing better than others, you need to find out why. Are you using the right people in the sales process? A key to successfully converting sales is to ensure that you are dealing with the decision maker. Don't worry about dealing with the gatekeepers. You need to get straight to the people who can make those decisions. You should also offer a range of options so that the question becomes, which option should I buy? Which product should I go with? Which service should I go with? Rather than, should I buy this product or should I buy this service? Some examples around how you can increase this conversion rate, for example, might be to improve the website user experience to make navigation and purchasing a lot easier. You could look to offer limited time promotions, and this will incentivize quicker decisions, because obviously if the promotion finishes on a certain date, they've only got a certain amount of time to make a decision. Using customer testimonials and case studies, also really important to help build your trust and your credibility out there in the marketplace. Number 4, The fourth way to grow your business is to increase your transaction frequency. This is especially important, for example, in retail. As I said a lot earlier, it's much harder to sell to new customers than it is to sell to existing customers. So it makes sense to encourage those customers to buy from you more often and more regularly. You can do this by sending reminders, VIP cards, or offering special deals to those existing customers. You might like to encourage repeat business through follow-up offers and regular updates to let them know what you're doing. You could introduce, say, a subscription service model for regular use of your product or your service. And so, for example, if that's on a monthly subscription fee, that's great for cash flow for your business. You could also look to create a schedule of regular promotions throughout the year so that you've always got something in the pipeline on the go throughout the year, something that you can set and forget and that you know is always happening. Number 5, the fifth way to grow your business is by increasing the transaction value. This doesn't necessarily mean increasing your prices, which may be odd as it seems. You need to think about how you'd add more value to your customers. You could provide them with a range of options. Is it clear what your business offers? Make sure that's important, that everybody knows what your business does. Don't assume that they already know. You need to tell them. It may seem weird. It might be like, oh, I'm being a bit too obvious, but stating the obvious sometimes is the best way to get your message across. Follow the would you like fries with that kind of concept and adapt this to your business. One other key important thing is try not to offer a discount unless the customer has purchased an add-on. Offering discounts right up front is not necessarily the best way to go. Other examples of how you might be able to increase your transaction value would be, for example, bundling products and services together at a slightly reduced price. Look to upsell higher end products or services to your existing customers, and providing exclusive add-ons or upgrades for an additional fee. The sixth way to grow your business is to reduce your variable costs. These are costs which increase as your sales increases. So this could be things like direct labor, cost of materials, and sales commissions. Implementing some better systems to accurately record time and materials used, as well as implementing strategies to reduce rework and wastage, will help you reduce your variable costs. Some examples around this could be automating parts of the sales process to reduce labor costs. Obviously, with new AI systems and processes out there, this could be done really well and really efficiently. You would look at potentially focusing your marketing efforts on your higher return channels or categories. So those higher products and higher services that give you a better margin. You also would look at potentially streamlining the sales process so you can close those deals faster. So rather than having a 3 or 4 week, from generating the lead to closing a sale, if you can reduce that down to say 1 to 2 weeks, that would be more ideal for the business. Now, the final way to grow your business, and this is one that we come across time and time again when we're talking with our customers, is reducing your overheads. These are your fixed costs like phone and power, rent, utilities, all of those types of costs. How often do you review your overheads? Normally, it should be done annually. However, if you haven't reviewed them as part of your recovery plan, you must do so now. Something that we do with our customers on a regular basis through our performance reporting is continuously reviewing these overheads, questioning whether they can be more efficient, whether they are necessary. So you don't have to do this annually. You could do this quarterly or more frequently, as depending on the business. You should go through your annual financial statements or your Xero reports, identify these overheads that you could potentially reduce. Ways that you could look to try and reduce these overheads would be, for example, can you negotiate better terms for your utilities and say for your rent, and reduce the amount of office supplies being used. While we're on this subject, let's talk about accounting fees. We're telling you to reduce your costs. So if you think we are a cost that you should cut, then you should cut us now. That may seem odd, but if you want to work with us as a strategic partner in your business, then you probably need us now more than ever. Think of us as an investment rather than a cost. Our goal is to save you more tax, help you grow your business in ways that can save you money, in ways that are way more, and that might cost you a bit of extra in accounting fees. But if we can find ways that will make your business more efficient, then that is part of what we try and do. Examples around reducing these overheads could be to, as I've mentioned, is to renew or renegotiate contracts with suppliers for better rates, but also payment terms. So whether you're on say a 7-day, 14-day, or say 20-day payment term, can you extend those out? You could look to implement energy saving measures to reduce your utility bills, and allowing telecommuting to save on office space and related expenses. So with working from home these days is becoming more and more prevalent. How can you utilize that to reduce your overheads and your office costs? So now I'm going to look at going through an example of what small changes can you make in your business that can have a big impact on your profit. So we'll look at the growth equation calculator, and we'll make some small changes and show by monitoring your KPIs how you can set goals for improvement and the impacts that these can have. This calculator shows you the 7 ways to grow your business in action. For efficiency during the webinar, we've used some screenshots of the calculator, but if you would like to go through your specific numbers and your specific business, we can sit down with you and run your numbers with you just so you can see the impact that these small changes will have on your business. This will also help you determine the goals for improving your KPIs that you would like to achieve in your business. So let's have a quick look at the current KPIs and profit for this example company, and then I'll show you the impact that these small changes can make on the profit and then the value of the business. Note that the numbers have been rounded, so if you're trying to work out these calculations in your head, just note that they have been rounded. So we are looking at a business that has approximately 765 existing customers. They have around about an 85% retention rate, which means that they've got, at the end of the day, 650 retained customers. Throughout the year, they generate approximately 145 new leads or inquiries with a conversion rate of about 50%. So this means an additional acquired customers of around about 73. This takes their total customers up to 723. If each of these customers has approximately 1.1 transactions per year, and that transaction value is approximately 1,560, that gives you a total annual sales figure of just over 1.2 million. We're looking at cost of sales or cost of goods sold of approximately 70%, and then other operating expenses of around about 265,000. So all in all, once we've calculated all of that, it should give them approximately a net profit of just over 107,000. So to demonstrate the increase in the value of the business, we've used a very basic valuation multiplier of 3 times that net profit number in this calculator. Obviously, in terms of doing a valuation for a business, there are a lot more variables, a lot more factors, a lot more information that we would consider and utilize. And this is probably not exactly how we would value a business, but it gives you a bit of an indicative and rough guide on a valuation for a business based on potential earnings in the company. So this current company is valued at just over 321,000. So let's look at what changes we can make to this business to improve its profit, improve its cash flow, and potentially improve its valuation at the end of the day. So one of the first 7 ways to grow your business factors that we looked at was increasing your customer retention rate. So let's say we have 765,000 or 65 existing customers. Our retention rate increases by 5% to 90%. That means we now have 689 of retained customers. We have the same number of inquiries or leads of about 145, but the conversion rate drops slightly from 50 to 45%. This means they only get to acquire 65 new customers throughout the year. So their new number of customers is 754. So an increase on last year with those changes up to 754. One of the ways that we looked at is, or one of the examples was, how can you retain your customers? And we looked at a customer loyalty program, so that the customers now make on average 1.3 transactions per year, and their transaction value has increased $40 to $1,600. So you can see that the annual total sales on the increased number of customers, increased transactions per year, increased transaction value now sits at just over 1.5 million. So a very good increase to that total annual sales figure. Now, we've managed to make some changes to the variable costs and managed to reduce that down from 70% to 65%, which is fantastic. However, we have seen about a 35,000 increase in our other operating costs, going from 265,000 to 300,000. At the end of the day, this almost doubles our net profit from 107,000 to 248,000. If we then still use that 3 times valuation multiple, you can see that the valuation has improved significantly, up 425,000 to a total valuation of 746,000. A massive profit improvement and a massive valuation improvement. You can see that by making some small changes in the business, they've more than doubled their net profit by focusing on delighting their customers, retaining more of them. They're more likely to buy from you more often and spend more. So you can see those changes, but remember, this is just an example. It might be different for your business. So if you'd like to run through some specific numbers, what the impacts would be to you and your business, then reach out to us and we can take you through an example based on your numbers and your data. As Albert Einstein famously said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. We all know this, right? So what do we have to do differently this year? We have 4 choices. 1, do nothing. For example, you might say, hey, that was a nice webinar. Yes, I know I should do something differently, but change seems too hard at this time. You might retreat. So you might try a couple of things, have a couple of bad days. You go, no, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to retreat and just do what I always did. You could take some normal amounts of action. You do a few easier things here and there, get some quick wins, some quick cash flow improvements, but you haven't fundamentally changed how you are operating in your business. You haven't changed anything in your business. So those quick wins will eventually evaporate along with that quick cash. You might then take some massive amounts of action. You want to fundamentally change your business because your business is here to serve you and not the other way around. So as the old saying goes, if you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've got. We know that's not possible in this current environment to always make a lot of changes. But if you're always doing what you've always done, you'll get less of what you have always got. So it's time to make some small changes and just start doing something. So how can we help you? So obviously this webinar is educational, it's general in nature and not a substitute for your specific or tailored advice and support. There are many ways that we can help you, and the first might be implementing a business plan with you. We can help you develop yours over half a day, or work with you on revising your current business plan or working on a business recovery plan. The other thing is you might need some accountability to ensure that you're on track to achieving your goals. We can meet with you quarterly through, say, regular performance reporting. We can review and reset your goals and your actions in your business plan. We do offer other quarterly or other coaching options if you want more frequency. So that's something that we can discuss with you. We're also offering to all attendees the opportunity to complete the 7 ways to grow your business actions list. This allows you to identify actions that you can take to grow your business. We'll then offer you a 15-minute complimentary call where we can review your completed action list, ensure that you've identified those actions that are relevant to you and your business, and that you have a plan in place to implement those changes, because you need to make sure that you implement those changes. So that's come to the end of our webinar for today. If you have any questions, please send those through. More than happy to try and answer any of those that you have. And if we don't get around to those today, we will obviously respond to you following this webinar. Have we got any questions, Hetal, that have come through that we can try and answer for anybody?
No, no questions. Someone's just said, thank you, Tom.
Perfect. Cool. Look, often at the end of these webinars, things will come to you, questions will come to you that you may not have thought about during the time. So feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to ask any questions or obtain any further information from us, or would like to engage with the actions plan and the complimentary call. We'd really like to hear from you. So if there's no other questions, we will be closing everything off a little bit sooner, which is fantastic. Everybody's probably tuning into the budget as well on the other screen. So if that's it, Hetal, I think we will close it off there.
All good. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to seeing you at the next webinar again soon. Thanks very much.